Hey, what's up, dudes? Okay. Um, we're picking up where we left off from yesterday. Save logic, final adjustments, part 4. Yesterday we stopped at line 41 in save logic. What did we do yesterday? Well, we began working through save logic master save object dictionary to determine if the objects are in the proper order. In so doing, we realized that master deck would have errantly been pre-populated via setup prior to data load from DB upon reconnect. Therefore, refactored the entire setup file after noticing a few improvements that could be made along with fixing this specific issue. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Alright, so timer started. It's 11:46. Alright, so let's put that time there. So this is going to be continued working through. Alright. So let's go over here to save logic. First, check extensions. Extensions need to be restarted. There we go. Alright, now we're going back to... Couldn't update tab color. Interesting. Let's close it and then open it back up and see if that fixes the problem. We stopped at line 41. Oh, because we didn't put... Oh, yeah, we did. It doesn't show... I wonder why that is. It's not showing the proper colors for the comments. Oh no, is that extension like not good anymore? Does it not work? Oh, there it goes. Okay. It kicked in. So this is where we stopped. Next, review changes just made in setup. So let's go over there and review these changes that we made in setup. Okay, so we did a few things. We moved create card, create double deck out of the setup function. We also refactored the create double deck function itself. We refactored create card function a little bit. We added in the reconnect parameter, which is given to setup, and then it's hot potatoed to create double deck, because we didn't want to create just like a file that we didn't want to create a file just for that. Technically, we could have just made a global variable in setup called reconnect. It's no big deal. We'll leave it. It's fine. It's not really not worth changing. Like it is what it is. It's fine. All right. So let's review. Imports are the same. Why do we have this segregated? Because of the card, blah blah blah. Games. Okay. Card ID, that didn't get messed with. Okay, so we have this new function, or it's not a new function, but modified function. Create card. And now it has it just has two parameters. We have rank, which is int or string, depending if it's like a 2 through 10, then it's a integer, and if it's is that actually true though? Isn't the rank? I thought the rank was. Is it all? strings. Okay, there it is. Okay, so they're all strings, actually. Even the 2 through 10. Okay, gotcha. So let's go back over here and let's change that, because that's not technically true. I like to be accurate. So we have this, what is it called? We have this rank, and this is not an int or a string, it is just a string. The rank of the card ranging from 2 to Joker. Right, then we have the suit, which is a string type. Well, actually, hold up. Let's see. Yeah, ranks dicts just associates the rank, which is a string, with the score of that card, like the score value. Yeah. Okay. And this should be, this is not a good name. It should be ranks score dict, because the ranks dictionary just, it's not explanatory as explanatory as it should be. It should be a little bit more explanatory. So we're going to change this name to be ranks score dict. So we have ranks dict and ranks score dict. Ranks dict, ranks score dict. Or we could call it ranks value, rather. I think ranks value is a little more descriptive, is more precise. Because, yeah, it's the value of the card. Ranks value, ranks score. But then if we use value, I might think of value as it associates to a dictionary. So we'll leave it as rank score to make that, to clear up that little confusion. So this will be rank score dict. That's notes. I guess we can change that. It doesn't really matter. Probably never going to look at that again. Okay. How did I end up looking at rank sticks? How did that come about? Oh, because I was looking, reviewing and setup. Duh. Alright, so we have this create card, takes rank suit. I didn't finish reading this. The suit is type string. So yeah, the rank is a string. That's correct. The suit there is a string as well. Yes, and then the purpose is the suit of the card, diamond, heart, club, or spade. The function purpose handles logic, which creates a card object. It gets called 108 times, one for each card. Also handles associated logic related to setting certain cards' attributes and populating card-related lists / dictionaries. Also internally calls card.card, assign, card images, and recs, which gives each card object an image and associated rectangle for visual handling. I mean, that's fine. That's kind of wordy, honestly. That's fine. Okay, so that's correct. Def create card taking rank suit. We have our custom logger traceback print log function, which just says setup and then create card, and that is correct. Then we have global card ID. We pass that in. Then we have current card equal to card instance, passing in the rank and suit. Okay, that's good. Current card dot card group name. So we set the card group name to deck, and each card has a card group name, right? Does the card not have card group name? Well, that's strange. I could have sworn I could have sworn that they did. That's weird. Well, that's strange. I could have sworn yeah, I thought it did. Is this is something that's like old, like should have been established a long time ago. The card's prior custom append list card group name. So that's for prior card group name. So we have a prior card group name, but we don't have a card group name. So this is associated with custom append list. Yeah, so this is different. Also, the card group name is assigned at this same time during setup. So that is not required to be done here, as is usually done either. After reviewing this entire function and contemplating the logic and requirements associated with initial deck append conditions, I added this section so that it simply returns after appending the card, doing nothing else. This is because the setup function, which ultimately ends up calling append 108x when creating the master deck, is called from the server. This is because the setup function is called from the server. After reviewing this entire function, contemplating the logic and requirements associated with the initial deck append conditions, I added this section so that it simply returns after appending the card, doing nothing else. This is because setup function, which ultimately ends up calling append, is called from the server. Client 1 and client 2 in this instance, only this instance, initial deck append is equal to true. This means that there is no requirement for data transfer or any extra function either from the requirement performing append from one point. Also, the card group name is assigned at this same time during setup, so that is not required to be done here as is usually done. But also, the card group name is assigned at this time during setup, so that is not required to be done here. Coming to this function until we end up finishing adjusting letters. So this is custom appendless card group name. Duh. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I'm just trying to see if like we refer to the card group name of the card ever. I feel like I don't know. I think we need that. I thought we needed that for something. Okay, so I actually have to be careful about this because I might be referencing the card group name associated with the card, but instead of the one associated with the custom append list. So they shouldn't have the same name. One of them should be called like the card group name. They need to have different names. They can't both just be called card group name. That is confusing. Especially since they're used like kind of, they have some overlap in their application usage, whatever you want to call it. So right here, this is appending the self card group. This is getting the self.card group name. So anytime we reference self card group name in this instance, that means we're referring to the custom append list attribute. So if it says self dot, that lets me know I'm safe to like not have to worry about it being the one that actually refers to the card group name. Yeah, so this is all preceded by self dot. That was a good. Okay, so here we have item dot. If item card group name. And this is for if it's a custom append list, so that means this is basically the same thing as a custom append list instance attribute being compared to the, or being set to the custom append list attribute. For current card in item, now at this point we're referring to the card group name. Ah. So we do actually use this. This is actually the cards. This is two different objects here. And I thought, yeah. See, we say item.card group name because if it's a card, the item is a card and not a list, which is not a custom append list. So this right here, item card group name, and this item card group name, they both refer to the card attribute. So we'll say item.card group name here refers to the card class instances attribute. Let's see. Here refers to the card class instances attribute. Let's see, item card group name here refers to the card class instances attribute. Card item card group name equals self.card group name. I mean, yeah, this needs to have a different. We got to do something about that. That's confusing. And then here, it also refers to the card class instances attribute. What is this here? Card. So the question is though, do we use it? Like we set it, but do we use it? I'm pretty sure we need it. You need to have each card have a card group name. Like I'm 99.9% sure about that, which means if we do need it, we need to create that attribute in the init of the card, in the cards file init as an attribute, but it's not there currently, which is weird. I don't know why. I must have deleted that for some. I don't know why I would have done that. I mean, it still will work, but it doesn't like let you know that there is such a thing until it's like just created after the fact. Okay, so we have if self cargo name, and this is referring to. Okay, so I guess I wanted to have the same name for the attribute so that this line would be interchangeable. We would just, well no, because this is referring to the self, and the self would refer to the custom append list. Okay, never mind. Self cargo name. This is some petty shit. It's like, it's little junk stuff, but it's just a matter of being like, you know, organized and stuff. It's the correct thing to do. 99% sure this refers to a meld list, but we don't have listed anyway a prior cargo name or prior meld name attribute for the custom append list class. So either this code is bugged or we assign them somewhere, but we don't have the attributes recorded in it or elsewhere. Yeah, that's funny because that's literally what we're dealing with right now, with a different attribute. Same thing, same concept. Prior cargo name equals self cargo name dict. We're not worried about that. Cargo name dict, blah blah blah. Self cargo name. This would, yeah, anything with self preceding it refers to the custom append list, so we're not worried about that one. Alright, now we're on to the next file. So this is a list of all card group names that are visually represented. This tuple, ooh, I must have deleted that tuple because I don't see a tuple here. A list of all card group names that are visually represented. This tuple is used to save visually represented card groups to the DB every time they are modified. Append pop clear. Well, apparently that's, I don't use that anymore. There is no tuple. Yeah, this is a dead, a list of all card group names that are visually represented as tuples. Yeah, that's dead code. Alright, moving on. So these would refer to verified card group name includes P1, P2 prefix. Yes. This is for the custom append list save function. We don't actually use this function right now, but cargo name is in that. Oh, so we're talking, that was referring to the visual card group name tube. I see. Okay, so that was referring to this tube, but And it's actually a tube. Yeah, we can just call it a list. No, we're gonna call it what it is. It's a tuple. Alright. If card group name is in cell visual card group name 2, that is just a list of card group names that's separate from the current card group name. I'm like, damn, do we really not use the... We really don't use it. I don't see where we use it. So that's why we don't have it, because we don't actually use it. But we do use it, right? We use it in custom append list. The card's prior custom append list card group name. If self card group name is in self card group name dictionary, card group name dict. So the only two places right here. So it is used. It's used only twice. But we need it nonetheless. So this comment, the one that I just modified. So we do need to create the card group name as it's used in line 176 and 178 in custom append list. 170, well, that line number is subject to change. We'll just say it's used in the append function. Append method. Here we go. This is the line I was looking for. So we set the prior card group name of the card. This is a card. Or no. Well, hold up. No, this is for pop. So it could be. Well, this is for a card. So this sets the card. The card prior card group name. Yeah, only the card would have that. So it sets the prior card group name to the self.card group name, which is the custom append list instance attribute. And why exactly was I looking at that? Prior card group name, da 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 da. The cards prior card group name used to determine prior location. Yeah, so this does properly refer to the proper object. It's the custom append list card group name, not the cards. So that's verified. I just wanted to be clear on that. Let's see here. Self item 0 prior card group name is equal to self card group name. Yeah, so this sets the card's prior card group name. You see there, sets the card's prior card group name. And same thing here. Alright, so this is properly coded. I think so. The card group name is important, and I don't think we save that. We save the cards X and Y and stuff. But not the card group name. Let's put a little comment here. Well, hold up. So, we do have an issue here because technically this gets assigned. We assign this card group name. But do we use it? I mean, there's no point. If custom append list and string type item lower, item card group name, that's the custom append list. Then we say for current card and item, that's assigning the card group name. And then we say if card is in string type item lower, item card group name. So the card's card group name is equal to the custom append list card group name. But do we actually use the card's card group name? That's the question. Like, we set it, but do we... Why do we set it? We might not actually have a such thing. Like, that might be why we don't use it. That might be why it didn't exist, is because it's not used. If it was used, it would almost certainly be referenced here. We don't use it. It's not even used. Yeah, that's a dead object. It's not used. At least, like, it's almost certainly not used. We're not completely positive, but what I'll do, we're just gonna not have that. Let's see. Yeah, we use the prior card group name. We don't use the card group name. So I'm going to put a bookmark here. We're probably going to remove this. Yeah, so see, it's checked here, the prior, but not the current. Yeah, so we don't actually use card group name. Okay, that was a fucking deviation, eh? That was a distraction. Um, it's all good. Got rid of dead code. Dead code has no place in my project. It does take time to deviate and do little bullshit, what could be called bullshit like that, but it's really more about the fucking principle than it is about like the actual task you accomplish. Does that make sense? Anyway, so let's keep going here. So we have current card group named deck. So then we assign current card ID to the card ID. Alright. Then we do card group dict at current card ID equal to the current card. So we're assigning the key as the ID and the value as the actual card object in that dictionary. Then we increment that global card ID. Let's make sure that's in the right spot. If change attribute SSCS is equal to CS, so if this is client side, then we do current card assign a card images and recs function has to be rendered because this is after its creation and before its first attempted rendering. The cards cannot be rendered unless they have both a rect and an image, which is function assigns to them. Okay, that sounds good. And then we have a note here. I moved the code that assigns the display layer to locations drawn and is designed for that purpose and is a proper place where leaving these cards comment just in case the move may have caused bugs. Okay. Appends card into the game card sprite groups so that the entire group location, and this is a Pygame object, so that the entire group location can be updated with only one line instead of coding movement updates of each card individually. Close enough. It could have been reworded a little better. Card sprite group add current card. So this is yeah. So this doesn't mess with the ID or anything. So that's fine. Now we had the card ID increment up here and not at the very end. And then we return that current card. And this is in create card. So let's go find where that function's called and make sure we're referring to it in the proper context. So yeah, we say current card equals create card. We do the same thing up here. Alright, so that function's good to go. Now we have this create double deck function, which takes the reconnect parameter that we just created yesterday. So we modified it 619 params reconnect typed is bool. The purpose, and we'll just say default to none because it is defaultly set to none, or rather to false. The boolean which is set equal to true if it is a reconnect, to avoid appending the created cards to the master deck.deck, as this is to be avoided in that case since we load in the saved form of the deck instead. Function purpose creates a double deck, 108 cards, assigning each card to an instance of card object. Then shuffles the double deck and creates the original deck. Does it actually do that? Does it shuffle? It does shuffle, and then it we have this issue with the original deck we have to take care of. So that comment seems good. Reconnect type bool purpose default to false the boolean which is set to equal to true if it is a reconnect. To avoid appending the created cards to the master deck.deck in that case. Since we load in the save form of the deck instead. Okay, yeah, that's good. Alright, so then we have the traceback print log function, and this does have this set correctly. We default it to false because and then when we call it, we will call it with the correct arg. What do we passed it? So we just passed the reconnect, and reconnect comes from where? Okay, so yeah, reconnect, when we call, oh yeah, it's hot potatoed, right? It's hot potatoed from setup. So setup takes reconnect. Let's make sure that setup call has the okay, so it doesn't actually. So since this is a reconnect here in client, this technically should have the proper, it should have reconnect passed to it as true, right? So this is where setup is called, and it's only run after a hard disconnect. That means in this case we do want to load in the data, right? Yeah, if we don't load in data on soft disconnect because it's still there, it's still local, it's still saved like to the session. But whenever we call it here, this is in the context of client pi. After we set the video mode, this is right before loading in data. And we make sure it's not a soft disconnect. So soft disconnect is equal to false. Client is reconnect is equal to true. So yeah, we definitely do want to pass it that arg. So we need to pass reconnect equals true, or we could just say true, but we'll do reconnect equals true in that case. So then whenever this gets called, it will use this reconnect inside of setup. Let's see here. Why did it jump to number 6? I don't know. So this is in the create double deck reconnect is equal to false. Okay. If reconnect is equal to false, blah blah blah. There we go. There's setup. So setup takes the reconnect arg, and then it passes it to create double deck, and create double deck only takes that one. Yeah, okay, so there we go. We got that figured out. So that actually needed to be done. We took care of that. Cool. It's just like clues, you know. You look at it's just scattered. You're scattered, but it's a managed scattered state, and then you just like slowly retrieve everything back to yourself. So we have this custom log or traceback print log function setup create double deck. That's correct. Below section created 12524. Replacing below section creates a double deck. Okay, 108 cards total. That's true. So for deck in range of 2, so we do this 2 times. Because it'd be 0 and 1. It doesn't include the second one, so it does it 2 times total. For so it does this twice for each deck. That's why we say for deck. And then for rank in master deck dot ranks score dict. Okay, so that's the key, which is the rank string. If the rank string is equal to Joker, then we say for Joker in range of 2, because we want to create 2 Jokers, we say current card equals create card, passing rank string and Joker. That is the rank in the suit, and the suit is special for Joker. It's just a string called Joker instead of like diamond or whatever. And then if we are reconnecting if we're not reconnecting, so if reconnect is equal to false, in that case, then we want to set locate resituate cards no sound equal to true, and that will cause there to be no sound whenever we move these cards around, because we're creating the double deck. We don't want it to just, it would go brrr, like it's done it before and it sounds like tearing paper or something. Master deck append, because it happens so fast, it's not really like supposed to be displayed. So then we do master deck append, current card initial deck append is equal to true. All right. Then we say locate resituate card no sound equals false. Okay. And then else, this is if the rank is not equal to a joker. That means if we're dealing with any other rank 2 through king, then, or ace, whatever, ace through king, whatever you want to have, however it goes. For suit in a master deck, so this is for each rank, and this is for the non-joker ranks, and then we iterate through the suits. So we, for suit in master deck suits tuple, and that's going to be a tuple of the strings, which are the suits, diamond, etc. Current card equals create card rank suit, so this would apply to ace through king. Alright, so it creates those cards, and then if reconnect is equal to false, we would do locate resituate cards no sound equals to true, because we don't want it to make any sound. And then we do master deck append, current card initial deck append. And whenever it's reconnect is equal to true, the implication is that it will not do this. So when we're reconnecting, it's not going to append to the master deck. The master deck is going to be populated through insert calls on the load function. So we don't want it to be populated. So this is correct. So we'll just put this right here. We'll say below section created 620. We'll just put ensures that the card is not appended to the deck in the case of a reconnect, since we populate it via the save logic.load load func, or is it called load state? It's called load state func. Alright, then we have below section, which we don't really need this. Well, that's fine. Yeah, shuffles master deck and signs newly created double deck master deck. Okay, this might need modification. This comment. Alright, so we reviewed all the changes, except for this last one. We're almost done. That's so close. So close, man. Keep going here. Alright, setup refactor. Realize that this will not be populated in the case wherein reconnect is equal to true, since master deck doesn't actually get populated. Okay. Could probably just populate the deck via if elif, wherein if reconnect is equal to true, we would append each card to the original deck. Alright, so the issue here, let's zoom out real quick. Let's think about this. So the problem is that we previously assigned the original deck right here. And the original deck is basically just a copy of the master deck.deck. But in the case of a load, I think I see what we can do. Now, if we set the original deck at this point, sometimes the master deck would not be populated, so it would create an original deck that is a copy of an empty list, which is not good. So what we need to do is to basically just append, well, in that case, we wouldn't have an original deck, would we? I was gonna say, yeah, I know. This is a little bit complicated. I wish it was a little more simple. Nothing is simple at this point in the project. Everything has larger implications. It's a ripple effect. It's like dominoes. It's a dominoes maze, dog, and I gotta make sure I get it right, or I cause bugs, which cause me hours of work based on one little mistake. So let's make sure we get this right. Master deck, original deck equals master deck copy can't exist right there. Even if we populate the original deck right here alongside the deck, that would still mean that we would have an empty original deck in the case of whenever we were reconnecting, unless we saved the original deck. So I don't know if there's a solution to this that doesn't involve us saving the original deck, because on a reconnect we're not going to populate the deck. What about if we did else? Like, what if we said, so... But that would mean if reconnect is equal to false... Okay, well, we could do an else, right? And then populate. So if reconnect was true, like if reconnect is false, this master deck, original deck line would work. Right? Because the deck would be populated. But in the case that reconnect was true, this would not work correctly. It would just be an empty list. So we need to make it to where whenever it is a reconnect, the original deck is also populated. And instead of saving it, because the original deck is a static object, it doesn't really change. There's not really a good reason to save it. We really only save objects that change. So I think the best way to do this would be to say else. And this would be for basically you're saying elif reconnect is equal to true. So if you are reconnecting, If reconnecting, then we do what? Let's see. If reconnect is equal to false, else, and then we say bum 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 bum. So in the case of a reconnect, we do run setup before load regardless. So we can just populate the master deck dot original deck this way. So then we would say master deck dot original deck, and we'll say append. And original deck is not a custom append list, right? Let's see. Let me let's see, original deck. Okay. 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 Okay, I see. This line's not going to be able to be used at all. So it's not a custom append list. Original deck, discard pile, and discard pile match card ref list. So original is just a, it's just a regular reassigned in setup pi. Is it reassigned in setup pi? Well, okay, yeah, it's reassigned, but it's not reassigned to a custom append list. It's not really reassigned, it's populated. Right? Yeah, we did reassign it, but now it's not reassigned. Now it's just populated. The fact of them having cards that have vestigial attributes, that's an issue for another time. We're gonna just say this line is gonna go away. And then we're not gonna reassign it. We're gonna just say populated. Populated and set up pi. Alright, so now let's go back over here. Not to that. Get rid of that. Now we're gonna do master deck append, but we need to do this in both cases. So whether or not we're appending, whether or not we're reconnecting, we're always gonna append to original deck. So the original deck. So let me review this. So if we're reconnecting, if we're not reconnecting, we're going to append to the master deck and the original deck. If we are reconnecting, then we're going to only append to the original deck, because the actual deck is going to get populated through the load, but the original deck doesn't get saved, so it's not going to get loaded. So we do want to append to the original deck. That is not going to have any side effects, at least it shouldn't, because it is a regular list. It's not a custom append list instance, so this will work as it is intended. It should anyway. So we need to do the same thing down here. So we would add the else, which says ensures that card's not appended to the. Well, this is below section. This is ensures the card's not appended to the deck in the case of reconnect, and also ensures the original deck gets populated in either case. Alright, so yep, for rank, if rank for Joker and range of 2, current card equals create card. If reconnect is equal to false, so if we are not reconnecting, we do that. We append to master deck. We then append to the original deck with the same card. Else, which means if we are reconnecting, we only append to the original deck because that has to be populated. And then else, we say the same thing. If reconnect is equal to false, we append to the master deck, and then we append to the master deck original deck. And then in the case of a reconnect equaling true, we append to only to the original deck. Yeah, cool. So there's that. Now we're not gonna realize that we're not populating the case where could probably populate the deck, master deck, original deck. So we're not gonna make that a copy. It's gone. All right. Now we say random shuffle master deck. So we have. Do we need to shuffle the original deck? Well, this only needs to happen if reconnect is equal to. And it doesn't matter how it's shuffled. It should get shuffled every time. Right? Like, the deck should get shuffled. Because if we didn't shuffle it each time, then they could manipulate the game, technically, by, like, counting cards. So we have to shuffle. We have to add in a shuffle. And this should only happen in the case of if reconnect is equal to false, right? Because only if a reconnect is false do we have a populated master deck. So we say if reconnect is equal to false, only in that case. If we're not reconnecting, then we do shuffle it, because in that case the master deck will be populated. This comment needs to be modified. It shuffles the master deck. We don't even need we need a modification. Yep. So there that goes. And if reconnect is equal to false, we shuffle that deck. Okay, that's good. What about shuffling the original deck? The original deck is going to be perfectly ordered. So I guess we would want to shuffle the original deck, right? So then either way, we want to, like, if we're originally It will ensure that the original deck. Well, we should probably just shuffle the original deck at the start of the new round. So the original deck can remain in the ordered original state that it was created in, from Joker up to King or Ace or however it goes, and then whenever like basically the original deck just doesn't get shuffled until this point when we say, let's see, when we do original deck. Let's see, we go original deck. We don't want client back. We don't want deck. We want progression. So in progression, we extend the deck with the original deck. So at this point, it needs to be shuffled. The deck needs to be shuffled right here, because this is for resetting it to a new round, right? So yeah, we have already run setup. Setup's not going to be run again at this point. This is just a round reset. So setup would not be rerun, and that's what would shuffle the deck. That's the only place that the deck gets shuffled currently. So what we need to do is we need to say master deck dot shuffle right here, and we'll just put that we added this line 6/20/25. Ensures that we'll say this must be done since the original deck wasn't, well, actually this must be done to ensure the deck is shuffled each round. If not run, then player could have remembered the order of the initial shuffled deck if we were to reuse it. There we go. So then we say master deck shuffle. Why is this a different color? I don't know. It does that sometimes. We spelled it right, master deck, and then it's .shuffle. Isn't that the proper? Yeah, random.shuffle. Oh, we pass it. We say random.shuffle, master deck. Random.shuffle. So this should be random.shuffle. And then we pass master deck. And do we have random? Yep, we do have random. Okay, there we go. And I have to piss like really bad. I'm gonna go piss. I'll be right back. I'm like doing the ants in my pants dance right here. Bro, I had to piss like so bad, dude. Like, extremely bad. Alright. Random shuffle master deck. We finished this. And this is where the deck gets reset back to the original deck. So we do have to do random shuffle, because that's what shuffles that deck from its original form. And I think that's the way to do it. So we shuffle the deck initially, and then we shuffle the deck whenever we reset the deck back to the original form. And what about data transfer for this? This isn't going to transfer this over, is it? Master deck clear. Well, we would want it to get transferred though, actually. If we clear the deck on the server side, we would want it to be cleared on the client side. Oh. Since we can't reassign it, we're using various sticks to reassign them. We use extend because the pen would trigger extra custom that we don't want to happen. We really want to restore the deck to its original state at the start of the game. Yeah, but don't we actually want to like, if we do deck clear, doesn't that trigger data transfer? So if we go to custom append list, master deck is a custom append list. So if we do clear, if we go down here to clear, it's going to transfer that data, and we want it to, because like we're clearing the deck. Well, I mean, yeah, like we want it to reflect. We want it. We ultimately want the client side to reflect the changes that the server side makes. So in the case that we have it here, this would data transfer to the client, which would clear the client's deck. But this master deck extend, this would not be transferred. So on the client side, we would just have a cleared master deck. So whenever they restarted the new round, like whenever it ran shuffle, it would be shuffling. Well, that wouldn't be transferred either. So we'd actually have to shuffle before we repopulated it. Well, that don't make sense. You can't do that. Oh, so this is a little bit complicated. Ooh, found a bug. Ooh, found one. Oh. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a note here for us to review this, because that's very important. So what we'll do is we'll say, so we have a couple problems. First one is that this gets transferred, but extend doesn't. So why do we not just do append? Okay. I will put below 3 lines. Below 3 lines. We got some problem here, dog. Let's put 6, 20, 25. When I added shuffle, I realized that this section is almost certainly bugged. This clear call would be transferred to CS. Then the extend would not be transferred. Shouldn't we just use .append to cause transfer to CS? Because we need transfer to CS for deck to be populated. CS. Also, shuffle being called after the extend / append would cause the CS deck to not be shuffled because the transfer would happen prior to this. Should probably oh, I know what we could do. We'll shuffle the original deck. Because the order of the original deck doesn't matter, right? Yeah. Yeah, we'll say that master deck clear, master deck extend. We can just shuffle the original deck prior to appending. So yeah, this should just be, we would do random shuffle the original deck. Because the order of the original deck, it doesn't matter. It has like no, the ordering of this deck doesn't matter at all. Yeah, so we do clear, then we do shuffle the original deck, and then we would extend the deck to the original deck, or we would append each card from the original deck in its shuffled order to the deck. Yeah, so that's going to be a solution for that. We're going to stop here, and then we'll come back. So this is 1354 progression. Bro, ain't that something? We literally only made it through... we made it... We didn't even make it... We didn't even get to the next object in this master save object dictionary. How fucked is that, dude? Oh no, huh? It's true though. Yeah, create card. So we assign the ID prior to... we assign the ID prior to shuffle. And we don't need to call original deck shuffle here, do we? Yeah, we don't actually have to do that. We don't need original deck shuffle there. Original deck shuffle would not be necessary there. Because remember, we're going to do it at... we're going to shuffle the original deck at the end of each round, which is basically the same thing as shuffling the actual deck. The original deck does not need to be shuffled at this point. There's no point in doing that. But the original deck gets shuffled here, and that's because we would append from it because we clear the actual deck. So basically the original deck is a preservation of the original deck, so we don't have to recreate the cards and shit or whatever, or like repopulate it. You know, technically we could just not use the original deck and we could just repopulate the deck from the card group dict. You know what I'm saying? Like, we already have all the cards in the card group dict, so we could just literally repopulate it right here and just not use the original deck at all. That means we just would never use the original deck. And I'm gonna put that in the thing to do. I'm gonna put that as so we know that we fixed this one here. Let's see which one. Game card group dict setup. Must change code instead of that a mapping of ID card happens prior to shuffle, and we did that. So this task is complete. This is necessary because we need each card object to always map the same ID to ensure representativity. Yeah, that's true. That's taken care of. Okay. So now we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tasks left. We're going very slowly through this, but that's because we're discovering other little bugs and things that need to be fixed, and we're making minor improvements. It's just improving it overall. Mostly not bugs, mostly just like organizational improvements, but still improvements nonetheless. So it's definitely worth it, I would say. But I shuffle. So what we're gonna do is probably. Say next. We're gonna say consider replacing removing original deck altogether and just repopulating the dot deck here from the game card group dicts. Be careful. Review all associated code. Actually do it. Be careful. Because we might not be able to do that. Like, we might not be able to import the card group dict here. I think we can. We probably can. Yeah, well, yeah, because we set the game stuff in here. So, like, we should be able to do it. And then if that's the only, say, only do this if this is the only way in which the original deck is used. So only if that's the like only way we use it, or only time that we use it, then yeah, we can get rid of it. So this is 1354. So we found some organizations with code related to debt concerning initial population. Was that actually what happened? In Save Logic, we actually yeah, we finalized the code in setup, which created the double deck. Say, continued working on setup.py related mostly to create double deck over concerns about .deck repopulation. And I'm trying to be a little bit more precise and descriptive in all my stuff now, like being a little extra careful, because I don't, like, I made that little mistake before and I lost time, and I just want to make sure I'm being very clear, very precise in everything that I do, so that I'm not fucking myself over here, so that I can, you know, doing it right. So say 130, so we'll say 133. So that's an hour, that's minus 13 minutes, so we'll just say 2 hours, 1 hour, 1.75 hours, almost 2 hours. 2 hours would have been 146. So 1146 to 131. And then we did 132 to 133. We're going to stage these changes. So let's review this devlog save logic pi final adjustments part 4. 619, that's wrong. The date is 620. We have 1146 to 133. 1.75 hours. So we have 1146 to 131. That's not 2 hours. It's 1.75. Continue working through save logic. Master save object gets determined if the object are in proper order. Continue working on setup pi related mostly to create double deck. Over concerns about deck repopulation logic and found a couple of bugs. Continue working on setup pi related mostly to create double deck. Over concerns about deck repopulation logic. Actually, this needs to be since it's a function. 1354 in progression pi, and then 132 to 133 stage committed, push changes to remote repo, and created a new local backup of the entire project. Alright, there we go. So let's copy this devlog. That's correct. Now we are at the root of the project directory, which is good. As you can see, deprogramming projects Canasta. We're going to do git branch, make sure we're on the right branch. We are on the feature branch. We're going to do git add dot to add all of the to stage all those changes that we just made. Then we're going to do git commit dash m double quotes, paste in this devlog, and we already reviewed that. So just check it one more time. Save logic pi final adjustment part 4, 62025, 1146 to 133. That's correct. 175, 1146 to 131. That's correct. 132 to 133. That's correct. So let's go ahead and commit that. We have 11 files changed, 79 insertions, 62 deletions. Let's do git push to push up to the remote GitHub repository. And there it goes. That's done. Now we can close this out. We're going to go back over here. We're going to go to open up this folder here. We're going to find programming projects Canasta. We're going to copy the new one. We're going to back out to the backup file. Rename this to today's date. So it's going to be 620. Enter in. We're going to delete the old one. We're going to paste in the new one. And what we could do is just paste in and replace. That's probably the best practice. So we do text devlog, go to the end. We have 620, so that is today's date. All right, so we did pretty good. Session was alright, not perfect, not as like I didn't do as much as I wanted to do. I didn't progress as far as I wanted to do, but nonetheless, we did make progress. We discovered a couple bugs that had to be fixed. It's good that we did this review. Now I'm like really happy that we did this review of that master save object dictionary because it caused us to uncover those bugs. So you know, catching a bug like that, like when you see it versus having to like sniff it out and find it, is so much easier than actually sniffing it out. So I think we did right. Probably like doing this probably just saved us like, you know, at least an hour. Debugging that would have taken me, debugging takes like 3 to 10 times longer than like preventing the bug in the first place, you know, or like catching it like we caught this one. And yeah, so it's definitely very important stuff. I would say once we finish this little task, we have to finish going through the master save object list. That shouldn't take too long. I'd say probably, I don't know, I don't want to get my hopes up, but hopefully just like another hour or so to be done with that task. And then all the rest are really minor, and those little 4 other ones. And so now we're just down to 4 more tasks. So we got an hour and then 4 more little 5, 10, 15 minute tasks. So that's, you're looking at basically 2 hours. And we can do that testing and shit. So anyway, I'll see you guys later. Probably gonna go to the gym, eat, come back, code after.